Alright. Alright, so a couple of weeks ago I made this really bold claim and I said that Walt Whitman's Pioneers, Oh Pioneers, is the quintessential American poem. And I also said I was going to make a video to back that up. I don't know if it will successfully defend my point, but I will tell you why I love the poem and fulfill what I said, which is making this video. Um, I actually took notes. That's how serious this is. I took notes, y'all. If you have a beer, grab it, enjoy it, and we're going to get into this Walt Whitman poem. And the way we're going to do this is I'm going to break it down with the most basic, most formulated of analytical devices, and that's that we're going to do who, what, why, when, and where. Makes it a lot easier. So let's start with who. Who was Walt Whitman talking to? He was talking to America's working class. And you know it's America's working class, not only because he's like, yo, you got your implements of nation building, you know what I'm saying? You got your axes, you got your guns, you got whatever tools you need to make this work. But he opens the poem by talking about his tan-faced children. The reason that talking about his tan-faced children is significant is because it's a distinct break in a lot of ways with Europe. Now, history lesson, here we go. The reason there's a premium placed on fair skin is that fair skin, on a certain level, is a mark of aristocracy because they don't work outside. They're not gardening their own food. They're not tilling their own land. They're always inside, and hence they're not getting any sun. So when he says tan-faced children, he's saying, I'm not talking to the aristocratic classes. I'm talking to the laborers and the doers. What's really fascinating about that is that it also sort of speaks to what Ben Franklin was talking about way back when, and he did this essay, and I can't recall the name right now, but basically he was like, listen, yo, I like you, but if you come to America, you're not going to come here and rule because you ruled over in Europe. If you come here and you rule or you have a value in this society, it's because you have ingenuity and you're able to craft something from the work of your hands or your intellect. Not because somebody 7 generations down did something for a king and then suddenly, boom, you're in there. So that's the first thing. Who? He's talking to America's working class, the doers, the shapers, the builders, the common people. So what? What is Pioneers, Oh Pioneers? I like to think that it's a pep talk for Manifest Destiny. And as many of you know, Manifest Destiny is the idea that we have a divine obligation to expand, to move west, to increase our lot in life. And that's really what he's talking about. It's a pep talk for Manifest Destiny that's good for a country that's young and growing. You have to remember, at this time, America still really isn't America. For the most part, we're just America on paper. Many people would argue that America as we know it didn't really come into being until you hit the Civil War. So it's still a fresh-faced country. And this poem is really about seizing opportunity. Seizing the opportunities that the land has to offer, seizing the opportunity of an unknown destination. So that is the what. Oh, and the other one is that we have a duty to pick up where other generations have left off. A duty to leave something for the future. And he talks about this pretty forthrightly when he's like, yo, have those elder races halted. And he really is talking about Europe, because at this point, Europe is the old world. What are they doing? Are they creating anything new? No. But actually, if you've seen the Goonies, I sometimes imagine like Walt Whitman being like Corey Feldman in the Goonies when they're in the wishing well, and he's like, you know, our time is down here. Their time's up there, our time is down here. So that's the what. Why? Why is he writing this poem? I think he's writing the poem because he's attempting to embody the American zeitgeist, right? The spirit of his time. And the spirit of the time is like, we are Americans, we are young, and we are full of potential. And, you know, if you ever get tired, if you ever get bogged down, remember this. Remember these things. Think ye on these things. So that's why he writes the poem. When? Now with Walt Whitman, when gets kind of shaky because he's very much writing in the time that he's in, but he has this sort of like omniscient sort of narrative style. So what that means is that yeah, he's writing for this time, but you notice in there he starts talking about the past, he starts talking about the future, he starts talking about the cosmos, which we don't even want to get into cosmological time. That's just freaking crazy. But it's all times and all places as concentrated in this one moment. So, yeah, it's America at her birth, you know? At the time he's writing this, America isn't even 100 years old. I don't even think America is even like 70 years old. So, yeah, he's speaking about America at that time, but he does talk about the past. He does talk about having a duty to the future. And then he takes that all and he places it in this cosmological context that is all people in all times, always. He's kind of like a literary time lord when you think about it. It's fucking crazy. So that's the why. Well, that's the when. And the where is like obviously America. It's very much set in an America that is full of potential, full of the vim and vigor of youth, full of this ceaseless opportunity. And that's really what he's coming down to. So the who, the poem is written for the working class, the doers and the shapers. The what, it's a pep talk for manifest destiny. Hey, let's get out there and do this. Get your shit and come on. We're going to do this. We're going to build something. Yeah. The why, he is trying to embody the American zeitgeist at the time, the spirit of the time that says, we are a new race. We are a new nation. We are a new nation, and we can do what we want because we are not necessarily obligated to the past because we've left Europe. We're out of the new world, or we're out of the old world. And when? He's speaking specifically to his time, but he's also speaking to all times. And where? It is goddamn motherfucking America. And that's it. Bye.